Alex Gray worked at a diner off Highway 7. Nothing fancy, just a roadside spot where the coffee was always burnt and the smell of fryer grease clung to everything. It was the kind of place where truckers stopped for pie and locals came out of habit. The job wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills, and Alex wasn't the type to complain. Cooking greasy food for tips barely left room for much else. That Friday night was quiet, quieter than usual. The hum of the fluorescent lights filled the empty diner as Alex worked the grill, the repetitive clink and sizzle keeping him focused. Near closing, Gina, the only co-worker on shift, was at the register scrolling on her phone. She asked,
"You good to close up?"
but didn't wait for an answer before grabbing her bag and heading out. The bell jingled faintly as the door swung shut. Alone now, Alex didn't mind the quiet. It gave him space to think. After wiping down the counters and flipping the last chairs onto the tables, Alex tossed his grease-streaked apron onto the back of a chair and locked the door behind him. Outside, the cool night air was refreshing, and for a moment, Alex paused to look at the stars. They were bright and clear, the kind of sky that made you stop and appreciate the vastness of it all. Memories of camping with his dad flickered in the back of Alex's mind. How his dad used to point out constellations and say, "The sky's full of stories." Those stories felt far away now. The drive home was a long stretch of empty highway, flanked by endless rows of cornfields. The moon hung low, its light casting a silvery sheen over the stalks. The old sedan hummed along steadily, and the radio played an old country song that Alex didn't recognize. It was peaceful, the kind of night that usually made the drive almost enjoyable. But not tonight. Something felt off. The first thing Alex noticed was the static. The radio crackled, cutting out mid-song. Frowning, Alex reached for the dial, twisting it back and forth. But nothing changed. Then came the silence. Not just from the radio, but from everything. No crickets, no wind, no hum of tires on the asphalt. The kind of silence that presses down, heavy and unnatural. That's when the light appeared. At first, it was faint, hovering above the horizon like a distant plane. Alex barely gave it a glance until it started moving. It wasn't just moving though, it glided, smooth and deliberate. It got closer, the glow intensifying, and for a moment, Alex thought about pulling over. The tightness in his chest grew as the light revealed itself. It wasn't just one light, it was several, clustered together, pulsing like they were alive. The car sputtered once, twice, then died. The engine cut out, and the headlights flickered before plunging into darkness. Alex's heart pounded as his breath came in shallow gasps. The light outside grew brighter, illuminating the cornfields in an unearthly glow. Against every instinct, Alex opened the door and stepped out. The air was freezing, sharp enough to sting his skin, and Alex could see his breath in the moonlight, despite it being a warm summer night. The glow was closer now, revealing a massive craft hovering just above the field. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, seamless and smooth. It hung silently, but Alex could feel a low hum in his chest, deeper than sound, as if the vibration came from inside his body. Frozen in place, Alex stared, rooted to the ground by a mix of terror and awe. Without warning, a beam of light shot down from the craft. It engulfed Alex completely, brighter than anything he had ever seen. His body lifted off the ground, weightless and suspended, while the world dissolved into white. And then, Alex saw the visions. At first, it was like falling through clouds, weightless and disoriented. Then the images came, flashes of strange alien worlds. A red desert under a black sky with twin moons hanging low over jagged spires of rock. A city of towering organic structures that pulse faintly like they were alive. A vast ocean stretching endlessly, its surface broken by immense, shadowy shapes moving just beneath the waves. Each vision came with a sound, a low resonating hum, like the groaning of a distant storm. The feelings followed. Terror. Alex felt it in his bones, deeper than anything he'd ever known. It wasn't fear of the craft or the beings. It was something bigger, older. A sense of impending doom, as if these worlds were on the brink of collapse and Alex was a helpless observer. And then there were the eyes. In one vision, Alex stood, or floated, beneath a massive structure in the shape of an inverted pyramid, glowing with an unnatural bluish light. From its center emerged eyes, not human, but vast, unknowable, watching everything at once. Alex felt those eyes looking straight through him, peeling back every layer of thought, memory and feeling, exposing his very essence. He tried to scream, but no sound came. The light in the visions began to fade, replaced by darkness that seemed to stretch forever. The hum grew louder, vibrating through Alex's chest and skull until it became unbearable. And just when it felt like his mind would split apart, everything stopped. Alex woke up lying in a cornfield, staring at the stars. The craft was gone, and the night was quiet again. Slowly sitting up, Alex spotted the car still parked on the roadside, its headlights dim and flickering weakly. Legs shaky, he stumbled back to the driver's seat and collapsed behind the wheel. The dashboard clock read 3:17 a.m. 3 hours had passed. Gripping the wheel tightly, Alex stared straight ahead, struggling to make sense of what had happened. Then, out of the corner of his eye, something caught his attention. Looking down, Alex froze. On the inside of his wrist was a small circular mark, perfectly round, like a burn or a brand. The sight of it sent a chill through his spine. The drive home was silent, the radio still dead. The road ahead, a tunnel of darkness broken only by the occasional flicker of the headlights. When Alex finally reached home, there was no sleep, no rest. Instead, he sat by the window, staring up at the stars, unable to shake the feeling of something still out there. Alex's life didn't return to normal after that night. At first, it was little things. A strange metallic taste that wouldn't go away, headaches that came out of nowhere, flashes of memories that didn't feel like they belonged. Then came the nightmares, dreams of floating, of lights, of those strange, shadowy figures watching. Alex woke up gasping for air more nights than not, clutching at the mark on his wrist as if it burned. The visions didn't stay in the dreams. During waking hours, Alex began to see flickers of those strange worlds, glimpses of alien oceans, cities, and endless deserts flashing in the corner of his eyes. The sense of doom lingered, like a weight pressing on Alex's chest, constant and unrelenting. Doctors found nothing. Friends and co-workers started to distance themselves, unsure how to handle Alex's growing paranoia. Most nights, Alex sat in the dark, staring at the wrist where the mark still throbbed faintly. The hum was back, growing stronger each day. Alex didn't know if it was a memory or a warning. All he knew was the feeling of being watched, as if those immense alien eyes from the visions were still out there somewhere waiting. And maybe, one day soon, they'd come back. Thank you for watching The Abysmal Signal. We upload dark, twisted, and mysterious videos weekly. Please like and subscribe and click the bell icon to stay notified about our latest explorations into the unknown. Until we meet again, remember, what lies beyond the veil may be closer than you think.